Hey guys, this is the study guide for third grade for February the 7th, and I hope that this helps you whenever you're studying with your child using the study guide. So the first one that I have here is an example of the distributive property. We've been talking about the distributive property for a few weeks now. What I have here is talking about how the distributive property we have on your paper should say hands out. And we start off with 2 times 5. They break the 5 down in 2 plus 3. We distribute the 2, so it turns into 2 times 2 plus 3. The next step would be when we are actually distributing the 2 to the parentheses. So then it would become 2 times 2, which is shown here, and 2 times 3, which is shown here. In the next step, you would go ahead and multiply each one of these, which would be 4 and 6. Then you would answer the addition problem that you see here, which would be 10. I do it in what is kind of like a 4-step process. This is step 1, 2, 3, and then the answer would be step 4. You can change that up and give your child the opportunity to do several different ones. Just make sure that you are reinforcing that this is the distributive property and that you are handing out one of those factors. The next one would be a subtraction problem with regrouping. Just you can switch it up, do any type of subtraction problem with regrouping, making sure that they are regrouping correctly. The next one is a fast fact. Just make sure that you're practicing subtraction problems, or multiplication problems, I'm sorry. The next one would be, this is coming from a number line. What we looked at, and your child may hopefully have it on their paper, we drew a number line and it has letters where it would say like A equals 0/4, B equals 1/4, C equals 3/4, and they had to choose which letter would equal 0 or which letter would equal which 2 letters would be equal to each other, and that's what that one would be. This one we have been doing for a very, very, very long time. They've actually just brought that one back. We've done that one on the board many times as far as what I call sticky note questions. This one, I had them draw it on their paper. There's a group of 5s. The way that you write the multiplication problem is the first number is how many groups you have. That's why I have them numbered there. The multiplication symbol means of, and then the last number would be what number is repeated. So that's why it says groups of number. So there's 9 groups of the number 5. The last part here is it has a number sentence, and they have a blank here. How many groups, that would be 9, of 5, that's talking about the number, equals, and then they ask them what would be that answer, and it would be 45. And you can switch that up by changing out the numbers any way you choose. On the next page here, this is something that I have as fast fact, a missing number times 3 equals 9, and you can switch that out with any type of multiplication problem. This one here is a problem that is involved with area. Sometimes they have the blocks there and they ask them to count them. I use the formula, area unit squared equals length times width. And ask them to multiply those, and not to forget that the labeling it, so you could switch those out as well. This is one of the problems that I call a 3-step problem. It gives them 3 pieces of information, usually something that they have to combine, and that's what we do in the first step. This one we combine the how many more I don't remember exact white cars than on Monday, Tuesday than there were on Wednesday of some type of question that they have. So they combined the Monday, Tuesday amount of cars and get 477. And then on Wednesday there were a total amount of cars 539. And so they take this amount away from Wednesdays, so Monday and Tuesday away from Wednesday. A lot of kids want to take this answer and put it first, and then try to subtract the smaller amount from the larger amount. That's something that I've mentioned a lot of times, not that you can't subtract up. So that's something that you may want to try to remind your child. So on the second step, it would be the second equation, and equations are written from left to right, equals the variable x, and then x equals 62 more cars, and you can switch those numbers. Number 9 is what we call a Cuban acing problem. Usually I will draw an X across there. This is our data, 8 bees, 2 wings, and then we have how many wings did she count, and the answer statement would be she counted blank wings. Of course, this answer wouldn't be there until we're finished. The important word that you see here boxed is something that they would pull out from the question, and each is the important word. So you could ask your child, what does each mean? And they should be able to tell you multiply if we don't know the total. If we do know the total, then we would divide. So we take 8 times 2 and get 16. Here is also another Cuban acing. How many kilograms of paper are recycled in all? Each is the important word again. In all tells us we're looking for the total, so therefore we would multiply. So 7 times 8 is 56. There are 56 kilograms of paper. Of course, you can switch those 7 classes, 8 kilograms, and change up the numbers because that's what's going to be done on the test. It's not going to be the same numbers. This was asking them to find a rhombus. Rhombuses do not have equal sides. They do have equal sides, not equal angles. Rounding. We still have some problems with rounding. This type of problem, if you ever see a number with it underlined and then dotted, this is the place value to be rounded. This is the number that I say would be doing the work. So we're rounding to the nearest 100. The 8's doing the work. The 8 would round the 3 up to 4. Everything behind it would go to 0. This one is saying that we have the answer to a multiplication problem is product. So when you multiply factors together, you would get a product. They would be shown a number of pictures, and 2 of them, as I would say, would be colored of a total of 4. So 2/4 would be this answer. And then on this last one, the time problem. So what I usually do is I would start with the amount of time. They were given that something started at 2:15, it ended at 2:55. How much time was that? So what I do is I usually go in groups of 10. And so I would say 2:15, 2:25, 2:35, 2:45, 2:55, and then I would chunk it in groups of 10 and then add that up to show that it was 40 minutes. Of course, you could pick any amount of time, start with, give your child, a certain time, and when it ended, and ask them to show the time. I ask that they don't add or subtract it like a normal addition or subtraction problem, just to keep them from the case where it would go across an hour, because that wouldn't give them the correct answer. I hope this helps you whenever you guys go to study. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask. Thank you.